Welcome to ACTV, Game 2 of this Friday afternoon doubleheader between the Adrian College Bulldogs and the Calvin Knights. Big game, #1 win for the Bulldogs. Tommy Parsons going the complete game for the 7-0 shutout.
Yeah, Parsons snapped his walkless streak for the season. He went 44 1/3 without a walk, but his 20-inning scoreless streak is still intact.
And pitching for Game 2 for the Bulldogs is number 13, Pierce Banks.
Banks comes into the year with a 3-0 record and 27 1/3 innings pitched. He has a 1.98, which is 4th in the league, and I've heard nothing but good things about this young righty.
All right, Game 2 action up now. First pitch. It's a high chopper to the third baseman, fielded by Darnell, and a throw over to first. One pitch, one out to start the game for Pierce Banks.
Well, I can tell you the first thing that I saw, he's got some giddy up on that fastball.
Definitely going to be a good showing after a strong game by Tommy Parsons in the first one. So up now for the Knights is the first baseman, number 27, Colton Wolf. Here's the pitch. Snaps curveball in there, but low, 1-0.
Now, Banks has 19 strikeouts on the year to 3 walks, but he does pitch to contact in his win against Kalamazoo. He only had 1 strikeout, so expect to see the ball put in play, but he'll also get a few swings and misses here and there.
As there was a check swing right there by Wolf, but he can't hold up, and the count evens up at 1-1. Pitch. A big swing and a miss. 1-2. Wolf 0 for 3 in the first game. A couple flyouts and a strikeout. There's a high fly ball in the left field. Rainey tracking it back, and he'll make the catch for out number 2.
Banks not messing around, just pumping strikes. It's what you like to see.
That's going to bring up the third baseman, number 14, Nate Deswan.
That is a nice glove Banks has out there, too.
It's a strike for 0-1. You know, I saw that glove before the game, and I was wondering who it was. And now, you know,
he's got a
match the glove with the face.
He's got a custom Bulldogs little label on that thing.
Paints the outside corner with that fastball, and it quickly goes to 0-2 on Deswan.
Looks like he's got a quick game pace, much like Parsons. Very polished pitcher.
Ball just off the plate, 1-2. He's got the gold glove. He's got the gold cleats. And we've said it before on here, but if you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. Here's the pitch. A little tapper at the Bulldogs dugout. Make sure everybody's okay down there. I think they're good. Hand clap down there.
Banks went to Parkway Christian and helped pitch the school into a state championship in his senior season.
Another foul ball to the left side. That one off the netting, protecting the fans up there. So 1-2 on Deswan. Here's the pitch from Banks. The ground ball right back to him. Snow cones it. Little flip to first. And out number 3. So a quick 1-2-3 inning to start this game number 2 for Banks. We head to the bottom of the first. You're watching Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Welcome back to Bulldog Baseball, bottom of the first. Knights failed to score in the first half of the inning after a 1-2-3 showing by Pierce Banks. And on the mound for the Knights is number 24, Clay Francisco.
Francisco has 5 starts this year. He's 0-1 in 21 innings pitched. He has a 5.57 ERA, 14 strikeouts to 7 walks.
Leading off for the Bulldogs is the center fielder, Ian Mikowski. Single in the first game, a walk, a couple of runs scored. And as always, corners drawn in for Mikowski. Here comes the pitch, shows bunt. And it comes across for strike one.
Mikowski coming out of the box on that square.
It's a ball low. Evens the count at 1-1. It's a tapper right back to Francisco.
Little present
Out
for
number
him.
1. Maybe April, but I think Francisco just got a Christmas present right there. There's out number 1 on the Bulldogs.
Had a bow on it and everything.
So that's going to bring up the second baseman, Brian Killinger. Reached base all 4 times he was up in the first game. A couple walks, a single, and a fielder's choice. It's a pitch from Francisco. Fires a first pitch strike in there.
Francisco has a little bit of life on his fastball as well.
And much like the pitchers we've seen so far today, working at a pretty fast pace. There's a ball nearly in the dirt, evens it at 1-1. Shadows starting to creep across the field here at the Nick as we head into the evening hours. That curveball just doesn't break enough. Hangs, it's 2-1.
You know, baseball gets a lot of criticism for having a slow game pace, but with pitchers like this, it'll give them a good rep.
There's another ball. 3-1 on Killinger. Here's the pitch. Another strike in there, and the count runs full, 3-2. Steady breeze still blowing out to right field. And a ball 4 just misses on the outside corner, and Killinger is aboard with a walk. It's going to bring up the 3-hitter, number 2, Ryan Doro. Extended his hit streak to 19 games in game number 1. See if he can keep that going. There's a fly ball in the center field. Center fielder's racing back to the track. He makes the catch. Killinger's going to have to retreat back to first base, and there's out number 2.
Doro finally squared one up, was getting under his last 3 at-bats. Got under the ball a little too much, but squared it up, just hit it to the wrong part of the park.
So that's going to bring up the first baseman, Hunter Hayes. Going to try to drive in a 2-out run right here. Yeah, Cody, I think you thought that was going to get out for a second.
I didn't think it was going to get out, but I was hoping it'd get over center fielder's head out there, Stewart.
Francisco throws over to first.
Definitely looked good off the bat.
The wind is definitely playing a factor on these balls today. Hayes fouls that one straight back. 0-1. Killinger takes his lead, dives back on the throw by Francisco. This Calvin pitcher's not afraid to throw over to first base today.
Well, you've got a couple speedy guys on the team, and Mikowski and Kill. Make sure you keep them close.
Big swing and a miss. Strike 2. Infield and outfield both at normal depth right now. Another throw over to first. This pitch from Francisco. Swing, foul tip right into the glove. Hayes not happy with that at bat, and it's out number 3. So the Bulldogs get a man on board, but they can't scratch anything across. It's 0-0 after 1. You're watching Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Welcome back to the Nick, top of the second. 0-0 in game number 2. As Pierce Banks gets back to work after a quick 1-2-3 inning. Up now for the Calvin Knights is the right fielder, number 3, Mike Kempton. Kempton 0 for 3 in game number 1. Ooh, and Pierce hits him right on the shoulder blade, and that did not feel good.
Never does.
We were saying that Pierce Banks has some life to that fastball, and I think Kempton found out in a way that nobody wants to find out.
Yeah, never a fun time getting hit, but especially in the shoulder.
And he's still not looking very comfortable over at first. But the leadoff man is aboard for the Knights. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Jonathan Keene. Banks fires in a first pitch fastball. Keene 1 for 2 in the first game, had a double and a walk, also grounded out to shortstop. Banks fires over to first.
Close play.
Close indeed.
Quick feet by
slides.
Banks.
Just slides back in safe.
So we know he has that in his bag of tricks as well.
Might see a pickoff over there today. This pitch from Banks, and there's a line drive into center field. Mikowski going back on it. He'll have it measured for out number 1. As Kempton has to retreat back to first base. That's going to bring up the second baseman for the Knights, Johnny Salgado, all the way from California. Salgado, a couple hits in the first game, but Pierce Banks throws that one away. Ricochets off the fence. Hayes going to have the play at second, but he'll slide in safely. So Banks with the quick feet, but he throws it away, and the Knights now have a runner on second with one out.
Tough throw to handle by Hayes. Threw it right into the ground. Not much he could do there.
Salgado, I was saying 2 hits in the first ball game, but hit the into the game-ending 4-6-3 double play. He fouls that one back out of play. There have been a lot of foul balls out of the stadium this afternoon.
I mean, they can go back, say that they hit some out of the park. Just not the right way.
I think our cameraman Drake said he was going to go try to find some after the game. It's a pitch from Banks. There's a ball in the dirt. Evens the count at 1 apiece.
No, I know on JV ball it's a big thing. You got to go get those foul balls out of play. But I don't know. Do they make players go run around during the game to find these ones up on varsity?
I mean, we are on a budget. Another foul ball out of play.
Laura's nodding her head yes. They still require the varsity guys to get the foul balls.
Banks gets his sign. The 1-2. Another foul ball out of play. So Salgado stays alive. On deck for the Knights is the left fielder Kyle Houts.
Now, wouldn't that be something if in the major leagues they had to go get those foul balls? You just have people going through the stands looking, seeing where they are.
Talking about fans getting them or like the players leaving the dugouts?
I mean, you'd have
Salgado, a long fly ball in the right field. Tristanson going back. And that ball is just foul.
almost able to sneak it fair. But no, I mean, they'd have personnel. Like, it'd be like ball boys and ball girls, except they'd be in the stands and have their own designated sections, and foul ball goes in there. You never know. Times get tough. They might have to enact my plan.
Yeah, but wrestling those foul balls away from little kids, I mean, days would be ruined.
I mean, you could give them compensation in the form of a food voucher or something along those lines. You wouldn't leave them empty-handed.
That's why you're the sports management major there, bud. 1-2 count on Salgado. Runner on second. It's the pitch. There's a high fly ball again into right field. Richardson has it measured, makes the catch route number 2. Kempton's going to tag up, and he'll head over to third. So runner aboard on third for the Knights, 2 outs, and that's going to bring up the left fielder, Kyle Houts.
Not a bad at-bat there by Salgado. Giving a couple rides out to right field. Just hit it right at Richardson, but made good contact nonetheless.
Not only that, but he managed to waste a lot of pitches from Banks. Houts takes a big swing and a miss there for strike 1.
He's put up a few good at-bats today. He had a couple knocks off of Parsons, which isn't easy to do.
And as he just showed, he has power to right field as a right-handed hitter, so makes him even more dangerous. Another big swing and a miss. Count quickly goes to 0-2.
Houts is a junior from Spring Lake, Michigan. Went to Spring Lake High School.
Pitch from Banks. Tags that one out of play on the right side. So should Houts keep the inning going, that'd bring up the catcher number 19, Logan Marshall. A high fastball swings right through it. First strikeout of the day for Banks. Gets out of the mini jam with the runner on third, and we head to the bottom of the second inning. Still scoreless here at the Nick, and you're watching Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Welcome back to Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Bottom of the second, still scoreless. And up to bat for the Bulldogs is the third baseman, Dugan Darnell. Darnell, a couple RBI in the first game. He takes a first pitch strike at the knees.
Darnell's favorite movie, according to his bio, is Anchorman.
Can't go wrong there. So fouls one straight back. So if we called this game like Champ Kind, do you think he might appreciate it a little bit more?
I mean, if he hits one out, we could give him a good old whammy.
Let's see it. Not on that one, though, as that one's in the dirt. 1-2.
Can you say that? In the dirt? There's no dirt at the plate. It's turf.
In the turf.
We might have to change up our jargon there.
There's a strike at the knees. Questionable call, but nonetheless, it's out number one.
Not often you see Darnell going down looking.
He gave the umpire a little bit of a look before he walked back to the bench. Second strikeout for Francisco, and that's going to bring up the right fielder, Tristan Richardson. RBI double in the last game, also walked. Take that back. It's the left fielder, Gunnar Rainey. I'm getting ahead of myself. He fouls that one back on the right side.
That's what happens when you're looking at your score sheet and not the field. I say this in love. You know that, right, Robbie?
We're just going to ignore that. A little fly ball to right field for Rainey. There's out number 2. So now that brings up the right fielder, Tristan Richardson, who had an RBI double in the last game. If I sound like a broken record, it's because I made a mistake.
This is college. This is where you learn things.
It's where the hard lessons are learned. Francisco drops a curveball in there for strike one. Ball just high, and it's 1-1.
Richardson's sister, Sarah, is a senior on the softball team, so she's currently over at that field playing a game.
Another ball, 2-1.
Richardson from Grosse Pointe.
Another ball. Just Richardson holds up on that swing, and it's 3-1. Corners shaded just a tad in. The 3-1. Fouls that one out of play. 3-2. Oh, but they're going to call catcher's interference, and Richardson's going to take his base.
Lucky break there for the Dogs. Instead of being down 3-2, and Richardson's 17 strikeouts show that he's prone to swing and miss, but said Dogs have a runner on first now with catcher Frankie Resto at the plate.
Resto going to try to get a little 2-out rally started here. Frankie a sac bunt and a single his first time up. So he takes a strike there at the knees, 0-1. There's a fly ball in the center field.
Get down.
Falling in the gap, but the center fielder's going to race over to make the catch for out number 3. Bulldogs get a runner with catcher's interference, but nothing doing. We head to the top of the third, still scoreless. You're watching Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Welcome back to the Nick. Top of the third, still scoreless. And up now for the Knights is number 19, Logan Marshall. Marshall only had one plate appearance in the first game. He flew out to Gunnar Rainey out in left field. There's the pitch. Fouls that one straight back. It's 0-1.
Banks' fastball really has some late legs on it. Really gets in on the hitters in a hurry.
There's the pitch. Taps that one back foul, and the count quickly goes to 0-2. So not many fans left out on the field in center field. The faithful ones are still there. There's the pitch. A big swing and a miss. Banks throws him the chair, and there's one away to start the top of the third inning.
0-2 count. Banks goes right after him with a fastball up and away. And Marshall swings right through it.
So up now for the Knights is the center fielder, Ryan Stewart. 0 for 1 in the first game. Flew out to Richardson and also was hit by a pitch. So he fouls that one straight back.
No, Stewart, like Banks, went to Parkway Christian High School, so a couple years apart, but I'm sure they know each other.
A little bit of a friendly matchup right here. It's that off speed, falls outside, 1-1. That strike finds the outer half of the play, 1-2. There's the 1-2. A ground ball over to the right side. Killinger with the routine play. And there's 2 outs.
Banks is doing a great job so far today, really putting that fastball right where he wants it. Got that one on the outside part of the plate and bangs it right to Killinger at second.
So that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Matt Kotva. Grounded out over to third base his first time up. He flicks one out of play on the right side.
Kotva, a junior from Elkhart, Indiana, went to Concord High School.
He watches a off speed go by. The count quickly goes to 0-2.
Looked like a bender there from Banks. Doing a nice job of getting his off speed over to get ahead of the count as well. See what he wants to do here.
The 0-2 just misses off the plate, 1-2. swings and misses through that off speed, throws him another chair, second of the inning, and the Knights go down. So we hit to the bottom of the third, still scoreless. You're watching Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Bottom of the third here at the Nick. And up to bat for the Bulldogs is the designated hitter McCoy Drizwicki. A little bit of a tough game for him. Back in game number 1, struck out looking a couple times, also grounded out to the third baseman. Francisco throws one in there. McCoy hits one deep to right field, to the track, to the wall, and it's gone. It's a solo shot for McCoy Drizwicki, and the Bulldogs lead 1-0.
I hope you're hungry for some Mexican food because we just got delivered an Apo taco.
Fourth of the year for McCoy Drizwicki, and that was a huge hit. Well, we saw him bomb one to left field a couple weeks ago. He had to even it out by hitting one into the bullpen out there and right.
Nice job of just staying back and letting the ball get deep and just serves it up into right field. Wind's blowing out, but I think he gave that one enough of a charge to get it out on any other day.
Erases difficult game from in game 1 and redeems himself as Mikowski lays down that bunt on the third base side. Throw to first, and he's safe with the bunt single. So the Bulldogs keep it rolling after the home run, and Mikowski is now aboard with still nobody out.
Third baseman playing even with the bag, and Dzwan, but Mikowski with the speed and able to beat it out.
That's going to bring up the second baseman, Brian Killinger. Walked his first time up. We'll see if Mikowski tries to steal here. Killinger tries to lay down the bunt, but fouls it up off the netting behind home plate.
Not often you see a popped-up bunt by the Dogs, but Killinger squaring late, pitch a little low, and instead of giving with the knees, he drops the head of the bat, and that's what happens, but luckily he went foul.
Francisco checks the runner over at first. The pitch, another bunt by Killinger. It's going to roll just foul down the first base line. Count goes to 0-2.
A little too much English on that one.
It's not a saying you've heard it in a while, or said in a while.
That's a throwback to the friend back home in Joey Bugner, local diamond legend in Lake Fenton.
Pitch from Francisco. Killinger lines a single into left field, a base hit. Mikowski's going to hold that second, and they're now runners aboard with no outs. That's going to bring up the heavy hitting shortstop Ryan Doro, trying to keep the train rolling here.
Doro lined out to center his last at bat, but made a really good contact. So we'll see if he can get good wood on this at bat as well.
Here's the first pitch from Francisco. He drops off speed in there for strike 1.
Francisco this inning's hanging his off-speed pitches, which if he doesn't get him down, might be asking for some more trouble.
Checks the runner at second. Mikowski dances around, takes off for third, but it's foul ball on a check swing.
Looks like that one ran in a little bit on Doro. Couldn't quite get his bat out of the way.
So Mikowski and Killinger will have to return to their respective bases. Doro's going to try to fight his way out of this 0-2 count. It's Francisco with the 0-2. Ball high, 1-2.
Doro, a sport management major from South Haven, Michigan.
Runners moving, pitch in the dirt. Mikowski's going to slide in the third after he throws down, but everybody's safe. Just like that, the count's even at 2-2, and he suddenly has two runners in scoring position.
Yeah, nice pick by Marshall there. But Mikowski, good enough jump. Picked the right pitch to go on with that off speed in the dirt.
Marshall goes out to have a talk with his pitcher. Trying to come up with a game plan on how to get Doro.
Yeah, these dog sitters are all over his fastball, and he's not able to locate his off speed, so might be asking for a little bit of trouble here.
Two from Francisco. There's a tapper right back to him. Runners are going to hold. And Doro is out at first.
Looks like he took that one out of the catcher's glove.
So they're now one out on the Bulldogs. Still runners on second and third, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Hunter Hayes. Struck out his first time up.
That would be a good time for another RBI double.
When not opposed to that. He hits that one out of play on the right side.
Francisco still hanging these curveballs. Might have gotten away with one there.
Killinger at second. Mikowski at third. First baseman shaded in. There's a pitch low and outside, 1-1. Breeze has died down just a little bit, but still enough to affect the ball when it's up in the air. 1-1. Another ball in the dirt, 2-1.
Well, Hayes is just going to have to stay patient here. He has 11 strikeouts on the year. So don't want to swing at anything that can't drive. Francisco struggling to find the plate here.
Fouls that one straight into the netting. And I did not flinch on. Okay, I flinched just a little bit. You guys okay over there? A little bit of flinch. Thumbs up from Laura. She's safe. Laura is safe. It's the pitch. There's a high, towering fly ball.
Is it deep enough?
Right fielder has it measured. He'll make the catch for out number 2. Mikowski's going to come in. He'll score. Killinger will advance to third, and it's 2-0 Adrian on the sac fly by Hunter Hayes.
The ball hit about medium depth by Hayes. And good throw by Kempton, but Mikowski too much speed to get gunned down at the plate. Killinger also able to move up on that ball.
So with 2 outs, that's going to bring up the third baseman, Dugan Darnell. Struck out looking his first time up. Has a chance to drive in a 2-out run right here. He watches a ball just high start the at-bat. Ball in the dirt, 2-0. Here's the pitch. Another ball, this time high, and it's 3-0 on Dugan.
Francisco really slowing down his pace here with a runner on third.
The 3-0. Fires a strike in there, 3-1. Darnell calls time to reset. We'll start all over again. Darnell sporting an Easton bat. First time we've seen that. There's ball 4.
Close pitch, but he was around the he was dancing around the plate a little too much, so I won't get the benefit of the call there.
So I'm going to make sure to get this right this time. Now batting for the Bulldogs is left fielder Gunnar Rainey. Fly out to the right fielders last time up. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. So you watch a strike 1 go by. High, towering fly ball, shallow right field. Second baseman coming on. Diving attempt right into the fence. It's going to end up out of play. And he's okay. Rolled over like he was hurt. I was afraid he was hurt for a second, but he springs right back up.
Yeah, nice attempt by Salgado, but couldn't quite get there.
And from what we've seen today, Salgado he's just a ball player.
He's got that California pride in him.
Here's the 0-2. Fouls that one out of play.
Gunner's standing right over top of that plate.
They're going. There's a base hit by Gunner through the left field hole. Gillinger's going to score, and it's 3-0 Bulldogs. Dugan's going to advance to second on that single.
It's like Gunner got out in front of that pitch, but third baseman Dazan took a couple steps towards third base, wasn't quite able to get back over to his spot, and Gunner sneaks one in for an RBI.
So now up for the Bulldogs is the right fielder, Tristan Richardson. Reached base on a catcher's interference his first time up, and he lines that one into right field, and that's going to get down the line for a base hit. Dugan's going to come around. He's going to score. Rainey's going to advance to third, and it's an RBI single by Tristan Richardson, 4-0 Bulldogs.
Almost a carbon copy of what he did in the first game, but this time Kempton, the right fielder, does a nice job of getting over and cutting off the ball, so unable to score two, but the Dogs still get in one more.
So the train keeps rolling. Runners on the corners, 2 outs, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Frankie Resto. Flew out to left field his first time up. I'll watch a curveball drop in there for strike one.
I think this is the point in the game where I will call his shot. Maybe a little hanging curveball, sneak one over that left field wall out there.
Oh, you don't think right field this time? There's a fly ball in the center field. Is it going to drop? It's going to drop for a base hit. Rainey's going to score. Tristan's going to go all the way to third. And it's an RBI single by the catcher, Frankie Resto. 5-0 Bulldogs.
Frankie just continues to stay within himself and just poke the ball right where it's pitched. And Coach Rainey's got to be pleased with that. Don't have to worry about him over swinging. He's just doing what he needs to do and putting the ball in play.
So now up for the Bulldogs, the leadoff hitter for this inning, designated hitter McCoy Drizwicki with the huge home run to right field to start this whole thing off. So he takes a strike in there, 0-1. He's going to try to keep the train rolling just like Resto did. As Francisco fires a ball on the outside, 1-1. Richardson on third, Resto on first. 2 outs. Here's the pitch, fouled straight back. Bulldogs now have 6 hits on the game. The 1-2. And there's a line drive into center field, but right at the center fielder, Ryan Stewart, for out number 3. So the Bulldogs tack on 5 runs that innings, capped off, or not capped off, but started by a big home run by McCoy Drizwicki. We head to the top of the 4th, 5-0 Bulldogs. And you're watching Adrian College Baseball here on ACTV.
Welcome back to Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Cody Alexander alongside my colleague Robbie Alexander. Top of the 4th inning, Banks still on the mound for the Dogs.
And the leadoff man, Colton Wolf, fouls that one down the third baseline. Foul to start the at-bat. Thank you for taking that, Cody.
My pleasure.
It's ball in the dirt, 1-1. Wolf flew out to the left fielder his first time up. There's another ball, 2-1. Banks starting off this game on a strong note. One base runner so far on the hit by pitch. There's a ball in the dirt, runs the count to 3-1.
Wolf is a senior from Eaton Rapids, Michigan.
A big swing and a miss. The count goes full, 3-2.
Wolf has 18 strikeouts on the year, so prone to the big swing and miss. Fights that one off.
Banks will reset, see if he can toss him a chair on this pitch.
Despite that high strikeout rate, though, he's still hitting at a 354 clip, and as we said the first game, he's the league leader in home runs with 5.
A foul tip into the glove, strike 3, and there's one away to start the top of the 4th inning. 4th strikeout of the day for Banks. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Nate Deswan, who grounded out his first time up, back to Banks. So that one misses high, 1-0. Foul tip back into the netting. Evens his count at 1-1.
Zwan's a junior from Hamilton, Michigan, attended Holland Christian High School.
A 1-1 from Banks. Finds the outside corner for strike 2.
I'm going through this Calvin roster, and a lot of players come from private Christian schools.
A big swing and a miss, and another strikeout by Pierce Banks as he throws him the chair, and there's 2 outs in the top of the 4th.
Banks starting to mix in his off-speed pitches and really just carving up these night hitters.
5th one of the day for Banks, and that's going to bring up the right fielder, Mike Kempton. Kempton took a fastball right into the shoulder blade his first time up. It's the first pitch. Ball high, 1-0. So should Kempton get on, that would bring up the shortstop, Jonathan Keene. It's a foul ball back into the netting. It's 1-1. And we got a flinch over there.
Got a bunch of rookies in the booth.
Yeah, fooled on that off speed, 1-2. So Banks gonna see if he can toss yet another chair this at bat, strike his man out. The 1-2 misses with that fastball, 2-2.
Kempton using a Marucci bat.
Stings one foul down the third baseline. Have you ever used a Marucci bat?
Not a metal bat. I remember when BB-Core first came out, a lot of the Maruccis weren't allowed to be used in games because they had a lot of, I guess you could say, malfunctions. I remember the one game that I played. The cat flew right off the top of the bat.
It's a ground ball over to Killinger. Routine play. There's out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for the Knights. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 5-0 Bulldogs. You're watching Adrian College Baseball here on ACTV. Welcome back to the Nick. Bottom of the 4th, 5-0 Bulldogs. Francisco goes back for another inning of work. Roughed up in his last trip to the mound. And leading off for the Bulldogs is the center fielder Ian Mikowski. Had that bunt single in the last inning and later scored a run. So he shows bunt again. That one's going to come across for strike 1.
Dezwan at third base, not taking any chances this time, playing in on the grass.
I don't think that phases Mikowski, though. He shows pretty much no matter where the corner's drawn. It's the 1-1. Ball in the dirt, 2-1. Mike Mikowski's also swinging an Easton. So he hits a line drive, back up the middle base hit. Takes a big turn at first. He's going to hold. And the leadoff man is aboard.
Salgado was played way over. Maybe expecting a bunt, playing like he was going to try to cover first base in case Mikowski decided to put one down the first base line.
And that speed and his bunting ability just works in his favor when he does decide to swing away, because then he creates those gaps by drawing the infield in different positions.
You know what they say, speed kills.
So that's going to bring up the second baseman, Brian Killinger. Killinger.
You've used that pun once before.
I lose track. Throw over to first. Kowski slides back in safe. Killinger, single in the last inning. Later came around to score a run. Oh, and Mikowski gets fooled on that pickoff throw. He's caught a rundown. And he'll be out at first.
Nothing else to say except Mikowski caught leaning.
That's out number 1 in the inning, and the bases are now empty. It's definitely going to have a talk by Coach Rainey when he gets back to the dugout. It's a ball outside, 2-0 on Killinger.
Just wasn't expecting the throw over. Maybe thought he wasn't going to throw over consecutive times, but
It's a line drive out of play on the third base side. Sun's starting to set here at Nicolay Field on this sunny spring afternoon. Killinger calls time.
Now, for those of you that don't know the Nicolays, Ernest Nicolay was actually...
There's a line drive into the left field gap, and that's going to fall. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Killinger heading for second, and he's going to go for third. Here comes the relay, and he's in with the head first slide. It's a one-out triple for Brian Killinger.
Nice drive there by Killinger, putting it in the left field gap. Sets up a nice RBI opportunity for Ryan Doro.
Pull that punt out again. Speed, in Killinger's case, does kill. So he just turned a double into a triple. Doro takes the ball high, 1-0.
But going back to the Nicolay story, it was actually the founder of New Era Potato Chips, which eventually, through mergers and buyouts, became Lay's Potato Chips and then Pepsi Cola. Did you know that, Robbie?
I did know that, but I like hearing that story. A lot of money donated to this field and this school by both founders of New Era Potato Chips. Of course, the Nicolays and then also the Goddards.
Who was Beth Goddard was the daughter of the other founder, Dancy.
So here's the 2-1 on Doro. That curveball hangs high, 3-1.
Now, what do you think Doro's WAR is?
I'd say at least 10.
I don't think nobody really knows what WAR is.
I don't know. Infield drawn in. And Doro's going to draw the walk. So now there's runners on the corners with one out, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Hunter Hayes. Hayes, the sac fly to right field his last time up.
Did you see that the Cincinnati Reds are putting up sabermetric stats on their scoreboard when players come up to bat instead of the traditional average home runs and RBI line?
Hayes hits a fly ball over the center field's head. That's going back to the track. He has it measured for out number 2. Killinger will score, and Doro's going to tag and take second. So another sacrifice fly for Hunter Hayes. Tacks another run on for the Bulldogs, and it's 6-0.
Nice job by Doro realizing that ball was going to be caught, going back to first base and tagging up. And even though there's 2 outs, a single will score him.
So now runner aboard second with 2 outs, and that's going to bring up the third baseman, Dugan Darnell. Walked and later scored a run in the last inning.
You know, it seems every time I go off into a tangent story, something good happens for the Dogs.
Are you using that as a way to justify your ramblings? Darnell watches a strike on the outer half of the plate. 0-1.
I mean, I got to make an excuse for him somehow.
This is true. This is very true.
Hopefully the viewers out there appreciate my nonsense.
Darnell hits a little nubber past the pitcher. Second baseman's going to try to make a play on it, and he is safe at first. Hits that one off the handle, but manages to scamper to first, and there are now runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Darnell didn't square that one up, but hit it softly enough to beat it out.
That's going to bring up the left fielder, Gunnar Rainey, and an RBI single in his last at bat and later came around to score a run. There's a ball down low, 1-0. Curveball hits the inner half of the plate, 1-1. Pitch from Francisco. He loses the bat. Ball goes flying. That's 1-2. There's the 1-2. Runner going. And that one's through the right side hole, a base hit. Doro's going to come in to score. Runner will move to third base, and it's an RBI single for Gunnar Rainey. 7-0 Bulldogs here in the bottom of the fourth.
I don't think that was a hit and run with 2 outs, but it looked like it. It was executed perfectly. So, runner taking off. Darnell. And Rainey just pokes it right through the vacant hole.
That's going to bring up the right fielder, Tristan Richardson. RBI single his last time up. There's a line drive. Ground ball through the whole base hit. Getting my words mixed up. Dugan's going to score. And it's an RBI single for Tristan Richardson. 8-0 Bulldogs. The hitters are just finding the holes in the infield right now.
A few times this game, the Dogs have really just been, I guess, lucky. They made good contact, but they're just getting them right out of the reach of these Calvin fielders.
This coach comes out to have a meeting with Clay Francisco. I don't think they had anybody warming up, though. So it looks like a couple Knights are heading out to the bullpen right now. So the catcher, Frank Resto, is now up to bat. RBI single his last time up. The chance to drive in a couple more 2-out runs. The Bulldogs being very efficient with 2 outs here today.
They do a great job. They have all season of bearing down with 2 outs and getting these runs in.
Watches a ball low, 1-0. Pitch. Curveball high, 2-0. Got Gunnar Rainey at second. Richardson over at first. 2-0. Fouled out of play.
You know, I think I feel it.
You think you feel a shot?
I think I feel a Frankie Resto big fly.
Another one fouled out of play, and the count evens up at 2 apiece.
But, I mean, I'll take a single, too.
You know, if you call his shot every at-bat, have you really called a shot when he actually does it?
I didn't call it his.
If you
How
call
many
it
at bats does he had? Said 2. I didn't call it his first at bat.
he watches a ball on the outside of the plate. Count goes full, 3-2. So runners will be moving on this pitch. Pitch from Francisco. Ball 4 in the dirt. So Frankie will take his base. And looking out on the field, there are 3 waffles in the toaster. And McCoy Drizwicki is up trying to make a continental breakfast. And with a home run already on the day, I think they could be eating good today.
Well, I think I see the orange juice coming out. Maybe a little whipped cream for those waffles. Some syrup. I mean, I'm feeling pretty hungry. Let's see if he can finish this off.
Just takes a ball on the outside, 1-0. So that ball gets away from Francisco on the throwback.
Snuck away a little further. That might have been bad news for Calvin.
The 1-0. It's a high fly ball left field.
No waffles today.
No waffles in this inning, at least. They do score 3 runs, though. It is now 8-0 Bulldogs. We head to the top of the 5th. You're watching Adrian Baseball here on ACTV. Top of the 5th here at the Nick. 8-0 Bulldogs. And leading off for the Knights is the shortstop, Jonathan Keene. Flew out to Rainey in left field his first time up. As Pierce Banks gets back to work. Very effective through the first 4. There's a foul tapper down the line. Who got that one?
Looks like OJ down there, Aaron Ajrush.
Keeping those soft hands for when he gets some game action. That's the way to impress the coaches. It's off speed. Mitch misses on the outside, 1-1.
First time you and I have been able to see Pierce Banks pitch this year, but this has definitely impressed us thus far. Great stuff and great command.
That one just misses on the outer half of the plate, 2-1. Yeah, we've heard a lot about him. And he's definitely shown up to the ballpark today.
Definitely proving why, as a freshman, he's one of the big starters.
A line drive into center field, but Mikowski has it measured. There's out number 1. So an easy out number 1 for Banks, and he continues to roll. So far, only 1 base runner allowed. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Johnny Salgado. Flew out to the right fielder his last time up. So that first pitch, Mitch is on the outside, 1-0.
Banks this inning going to his, and last inning going to his off speed earlier in the counts.
It's another one out into the parking lot. 1-1. So the concession stands we have just heard are about to close, but if you're still hungry, hopefully the Bulldogs might make some more waffles for their continental breakfast as the game goes on.
I mean, we had a taco earlier today.
We had Diapo Taco. It's just is a culinary feast here at the Nick today. It's the 1-2. Tapper right back to Banks. He'll flip to first, and there's out number 2.
And I know it would be really impressive if we had a continental breakfast Apo taco.
I don't think you could beat that.
There'd be food for days.
You're just hitting all the meals. You're hitting the breakfast, you're hitting the lunch, possibly hitting the dinner.
Maybe a mid-afternoon snack in there somewhere.
This left fielder, Kyle Houts, fouls back that first pitch 0-1. Another foul tapper towards the Bulldogs dugout. Count quickly goes to 0-2.
Banks has been going to his off speed a lot in these 2 strike counts. We'll see what he does here.
Another one fouled out of the Nicolay field. The count remains at 0-2. Fires a fastball right past him. Strike 3.
Nothing like good old hard cheddar.
So 6 strikeouts on the day for Banks. Once again, the Knights go 1-2-3. We head to the bottom of the 5th, 8-0 Bulldogs. And you're watching Adrian College Baseball here on ACTV. Bottom of the 5th here at Nicolay Field. 8-0 Bulldogs. Now pitching for the Calvin Knights is number 9, Jimmy Dirksen. He pitched in the first game. 1 inning, 1 hit given up. Only faced 3 batters. So we'll see if he can try to stop the bleeding and hold the Bulldogs at bay for the rest of the game. And up now for the Bulldogs is the leadoff hitter, number 21, Ian Makowski. Bunt single back in the 3rd, a single in the last inning, but he got picked off after caught leaning over at first. He fouls that one back out of play. 0-1. And I think that's the first at-bat today that he hasn't shown bunt on that first pitch.
Yep, trying to attack that first pitch fastball, but a little late. It's a foul ball out of play.
So that fastball runs inside 1-1. If you remember from the first game, Dirksen, a little bit of a slower pace compared to the other pitchers. So that ball's in the dirt, rolls to the backstop, 2-1. There's a ball high, and the count runs to 3-1. So the lights have come on here at the Nick. So 3-1. That ball runs outside, ball 4, so the leadoff man is aboard here to start the bottom of the 5th inning. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Brian Killinger, had a huge triple in the left field gap the last time up. So there's a ball high, 1-0.
Dirksen having a little bit of trouble finding the plate here in these first two batters.
Another ball high, 2-0. Dirksen checks Mikowski at first. The pitch. That one just hits the inside corner, 2-1.
Close pitch there, but gets the benefit of the call.
Shadows continue to grow longer here on the field. Another ball high, 3-1 on Killinger.
Now, if you're Calvin's coach, this isn't what you want to see by your bullpen pitcher. Still have 2 games tomorrow. Don't want to waste your pen right away.
Another ball high, ball 4. And this inning starts off with 2 consecutive walks for the Bulldogs. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Ryan Doro. Walked his last time up, later scored a run. And Dirksen already finding himself in a bit of trouble. Ball runs in, almost hits Doro. 1-0.
Well, coming into the game, Dirksen had 7 1/3 innings of work, and he walked 7 batters, so that's about a walk an inning. So might have some previous control issues, and right now just can't find it.
So another ball high, 2-0. The 2-0. He fouls that one straight back, 2-1.
Doro probably wishes he had that one back. Throws him a fastball right down the middle. Not able to square it up.
Doro trying to keep that hitting streak intact as he watches a strike go by. That evens the count at 2 apiece.
Looks like the catcher Marshall got crossed up on that pitch, going to talk to Dirksen right now, but definitely could have been catastrophic. You never want to see that.
Well, you were a catcher, you know. The sinking feeling of when you're expecting one pitch and all of a sudden something else goes flying in there.
That's exactly what just happened to Marshall and Dirksen. So it was a strike, but hit him right in the chest protector, which is a telltale sign that pitcher and catcher aren't on the same page.
Doro right back up the middle. What a play by the second baseman. There's out number one. A highlight reel play off the glove of Dirksen. Salgado comes and just dives and takes it right out. And that would look like the hit that would extend the hitting streak. Comes out number two.
I mean, what else can you say? That's probably going to be the play of the day. Backing up his pitcher right there.
It's going to bring up Hunter Hayes with 2 outs.
Salgado making the family back in California proud with that play.
I think we said it a couple innings ago, but that just reinforced it. He's just a ball player. Hayes taps that one foul down the third baseline. As far as defensively, I think that's the best defensive play that I've seen at the Nick this year.
Yeah, just laid it all out on that one. Looked like it was going to go up the middle, but again, just a nice play by Salgado.
Hard ground ball by Hayes. Shortstop will flip over to second, and that's out number 3. So the Bulldogs get a couple walks to start the inning, but can't scratch across any runs. We head to the top of the 6th. It's 8-0 Bulldogs, and you're watching Adrian College Baseball here on ACTV. Top of the 6th here in Game 2, 8-0 Bulldogs. As Pierce Banks gets back to work against the leadoff man, Logan Marshall. Struck out his first time up. He fires a fastball in there for strike 1 on the outer half of the plate. There's a ball in the dirt that scoots all the way to the backstop. It's 1-1.
Looks like we have a dog friend out in the hill in center field.
And there's a high pop-up behind first base. Hayes will camp under it, and there's out number 1. So an easy out number 1, and Banks just continues to mow down these Knights. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Ryan Stewart. Ground out to Killinger's first time up. There's a ball 1-0. Ball runs inside, but manages to hit the inside plate.
Inside part of the plate is,
Thank you.
I think, what you're trying to go for.
I tried. I really tried. And there's another strike. That one right across the plate. Count goes to 1-2. That's why I got you next to me. Somebody needs to fix my word jumbles. There's a ball in the dirt. 2-2.
Banks doing a nice job still of working both sides of the plate, mixing up his speeds.
The 2-2. Ball high. Count runs full. 3-2.
Close pitch there. It's like Stewart wanted to swing, but laid off that high fastball. See what Banks does here. Has great control of his off speed. Would be able to put one across, but
there's a ground ball over to Darnell at third. He fields cleanly. And there's out number 2.
just goes with the fastball on the 3-2 count and gets him to pound it right to Darnell over at third.
So back to the top of the lineup for Calvin. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 13, Matt Kotva. Strikeout and a ground out in game number 2 thus far. It's a curveball that hangs high, 1-0. Fastball runs in, 2-0. Going back to those fans out on the center field hill, there's been 2 people with an umbrella that have been sticking it out all day. And I think they deserve our fans of the game. Banks fools Kotva on that off speed, and it's 2-1.
If we had something to give them, we would, but I don't think that's in our budget. Laura's shaking her head no.
You could go give them a handshake, tell them it was a job well done. Fools them with the off speed again, and it's 2-2.
Nice job of taking a lot off on that changeup. Gets Kotva out in front of it.
A 2-2 from Banks. Goes with the off speed again. This time it misses and the count runs full. The 3-2. Swings
Nice
right
pitch.
through that off speed. And once again, Calvin goes 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 8-0 Bulldogs. We'll be right back here on ACTV. Welcome back to Nicolay Field. 8-0 Bulldogs, bottom of the 6th. And leading off the bottom half is the third baseman, Dugan Darnell. Had an infield single his last time up, later scored a run. Also has a walk and a strikeout today. So he takes a strike at the knees, start the at-bat. Fouls that one straight back. 0-2.
Dirksen had trouble with his command the last inning, but able to get out of it unscathed. Looks like he's settled down a little bit here against Darnell.
There's a ball down low. 1-2. Ooh, and that one runs in and hits him. And the leadoff man is aboard with the hit by pitch.
Darnell likes to stand right on top of that plate, so luckily he didn't square him up too bad, just a little nick, but I'm sure it doesn't feel great either way.
Now you can see him wincing from up here in the press box, so he's going to have to rub some dirt on that one or maybe some turf.
There's some dirt out there on the mound.
So you have to run out to the mound between innings.
Maybe Dirksen will let him go out there real quick. Take a
now
handful.
For the Bulldogs is left fielder Gunnar Rainey. RBI single his last time up as he fouls that one back out of play. Here's 0-1. Ball low, 1-1.
Gunnar went to Madison High School.
Dugan with a running lead. Nothing doing. Count runs to 2-1. Pitch from Dirksen. There's a high fly ball in the right field. Has it measured? There's out number 1. Darnell retreats back to first base. So that's going to bring up the right fielder, number 16, Tristan Richardson. Also had an RBI single his last time up. And the time before that, he had an RBI single.
What about the time before that?
Catcher's interference. So on base all 3 times today so far, trying to make it 4 in a row. He watches that ball sail outside to start the at-bat. Person checks the runner. There's a high towering pop-up, third base side, foul territory. There's out number 2. So with 2 outs now, that's going to bring up the catcher, Frankie Resto. Walked his last time up, also has an RBI single in this game. Going to try to start a little 2-out rally here. I got to say, I love the walk-up song.
It's got some zest in it.
Oh, I'm in German class, so I don't know a word they're saying, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. Another running lead by Darnell. That ball gets past the catcher. Darnell's going to go to second easily. And just like that, so runner in scoring position and an RBI chance for Frankie Resto.
See if he can poke in another single here. Would easily score Darnell.
Darnell dances around at second. Dirksen's going to step off.
Now, would you call that a tango or a waltz?
say a waltz. A tango is really a give and take, and I think Darnell's doing most of the dancing here. There's a line drive by Restover right to the third baseman for out number 3. So the Bulldogs get a man aboard, but they can't get him across. We'll head to the top of the 7th inning. 8-0 Adrian. Stay tuned right here on ACTV. Top of the 7th here. 8-0 Bulldogs. Up now for Calvin is the first baseman, number 27, Colton Wolf. 0 for 2 on the day so far. Pierce Banks just throwing lights out so far. He's going to try to keep that trend going. This is a ball that sails high to start the at-bat. That one just misses 2-0.
We were hoping to see Banks pitch here at the Nick eventually, and he certainly has not disappointed, just mowing down these Calvin hitters.
Here's the 2-0. A big swing and a miss by Wolf. 2-1. You said he leads the league in home runs, and with a swing like that, it's not hard to believe.
A little bit on the long side. He also has, coming into the series, 18 strikeouts, but certainly a power threat.
That one fouled straight back into the netting. Evens the count at 2-2.
Sometimes you got to trade contact for power, and appears that's what Wolf's done with his game.
And that one's through the right side, a base hit. And we weren't going to say it, but we got to say it now. First hit given up by Banks today. So he gets through 6 no-hit innings, but Wolf's going to get on base to end the no-hitter.
Just able to take that outside pitch right through the hole, and Calvin, first hit, only the second base runner so far today.
Banks is going to fire a fastball that misses for ball 1. Yep, but good clean hit by Wolf. Nonetheless, Banks still throwing lights out so far. That one misses 2-0.
Banks will just have to come back and settle down here.
Now, on one end, it's disappointing, but on the other end, you got to think that it's a little bit of a relief if that had been something he was thinking about. So that one now misses 3-0. Trying to see the bright side of things.
That's why we love you, Robbie. Mr. Optimism.
That one misses for ball 4. So the first 2 batters are aboard, and that's going to bring up the right fielder, Mike Kempton. Banks is going to have to settle down here as Doro comes out to talk to him.
First real trouble that Banks has been in today, so we'll see if he can pitch out of it.
Kempton 0 for 0 for 1 today, a ground out and a hit by pitch. That ball sails high, 1-0. 5 consecutive balls now thrown by Banks. Here's the 1-0. Flicks that one out of play. 1-1. You feel that double play depth. Runners on first and second, still nobody out. There's a high pop-up, right side of the field. That's going to get out of play foul. So 1-2 now on Kempton. As Pierce tries to work out of the jam. Pickoff throw over to second and over Killinger's head. Runner on second is going to advance to third, and just like that, there's runners on the corners.
I don't know if Banks is still thinking about that no-hitter, but struggling after that hit by Wolf. He's really just going to have to settle down and try to get this hitter.
There's some off speed that misses high. It's 2-2.
Banks starting to leave everything up. Dogs have some action going in the bullpen.
Pickoff throw over to first. Slides back in safely. On deck for the Knights is the shortstop Jonathan Keene. Here's a 2-2. And gets him swinging on the outer half of the play for out number 1.
Just blows him away with that fastball.
So 1 down now for the Bulldogs, and it's going to bring up the shortstop Jonathan Keene 0 for 2 on the day. A couple flyouts. Runners still on the corners.
It's a good thing to see, though. We're getting into this 7th inning, and Banks still has some good life on that fastball.
There's a high, towering fly ball in the right center field. Richardson has it measured. Out number 2. Here comes the throw into the plate, the slide, and he's going to be safe. Nice effort by Frankie to try and make the tag, but he gets in, and it's now 8-1. The Knights score their first run of the entire day, let alone the second game.
Nice effort by Richardson out there. Was able to get behind it and get his weight into that throw, but just wasn't able to get it to Resto at the plate in time.
That's going to bring up the second baseman, Johnny Salgado. Ground out and a fly out today. There's a line drive up in center field, but right to Mikowski for out number 3. So Banks gets in a little bit of trouble, only gives up 1 run. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch now. And you're watching Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Welcome back to Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Bottom of the 7th. And now pitching for the Knights is number 20, Josh Stornberg. As soon as Cody gets back, he'll have the stats on Stornberg. But until then, we've got the leadoff man, McCoy Drizwicki, up. 1 for 3 on the day. Had a big home run back in the 3rd inning, and he takes a strike on the outer half of the plate to start the at-bat. There's a ground ball. Soft tapper. Third baseman will cut it off. There's out number 1. So Stornberg, wasting no time, gets the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up the number 1 hitter, center fielder Ian Mikowski. A couple singles and a walk so far in game number 2. As always, corners drawn in for Mikowski to guard against the bunt, and he watches one sail outside for ball number 1. There's another ball outside, 2-0. Shadows reaching all the way across the field now as we reach the twilight hours of the night. Pitch from Stornberg. And that's a strike on the outer half of the plate, borderline, and it's 2-1. The 2-1. Checks his swing, but it comes across the plate anyways, and it's 2-2.
Sternberg has 2 appearances on the year and 1 1/3 innings pitched. He has given up 3 hits, no runs, has 1 strikeout.
Welcome back to the booth, buddy.
Thank you.
Ground ball by Mikowski over the right side, charging second baseman, throw, and he is safe with the infield single. So Mikowski is aboard with 1 out, and he just shows that no matter where he hits it, there's a chance, a good chance that he's going to get on.
Like we said before, speed can really change the game, and soft hit ball, but with those wheels was able to beat it out.
That's going to bring up the second baseman, Brian Killinger. He fouls one to the first base side. Killinger will walk his last at bat. Also has a triple and a single. Scored a couple runs today. It's the 0-1 from Stornberg. Off speed outside, 1-1.
Sun's starting to dip below the horizon now. Not much of a horizon here, but what I'm trying to say is it's getting a little darker.
It's a beautiful Michigan night here in Adrian. So that ball runs low, 2-1. Stornberg checks Mikowski over at first. Here's the pitch. There's a ground ball through the hole on the left side, and it's a base hit for Killinger. Mikowski, a big turn at second, slides a little bit, but he's going to get back safely, and there's now runners aboard first and second with only 1 out. So that's going to bring up Ryan Doro, 19-game hitting streak on the line right now.
Now, if he doesn't get that hit, Robbie, I think some people will be asking for your job.
That somebody is the athletic director. I might have to pack my bags after this game. Really counting on a hit by Doro now. Here's the pitch by Stormberg. Hits the outer half of the plate for strike one. It's another ball. That misses, and it's 1-1.
Sternberg doing a pretty nice job of living down by the knees.
Here's 1-1. There's a ground ball to the third baseman. Step on third for out number 2, and Ryan Doro's aboard with a fielder's choice. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Hunter Hayes. Trying to drive in a couple of 2-out runs here in the bottom of the 7th. Stormberg fires a ball low and outside, 1-0. That one just hits the outside corner. Evens the count at 1-1.
Dog's getting a little different look at this pitcher with a low arm slot. Pounding a lot of balls into the ground.
That one sails outside, 2-1. Pitch. That one runs low, 3-1.
Sternberg from Holland, Michigan, went to Holland Christian High School.
So they recruit locally or in the Grand Rapids areas. There's a ground ball to the shortstop who will flip on to second for out number 3. So the Bulldogs get a few men aboard, but they can't scratch across the run. We head to the top of the 8th inning, 8-1. And as always, you're watching Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV. Welcome back to Game 2 of this Friday afternoon doubleheader. Adrian College versus Calvin College. 8-1 here in the top of the 8th. And now pitching for the Bulldogs is senior number 27, Trevor Stevens.
Trevor's made 2 appearances so far this year and 4 innings of work. He's given up 7 hits, 3 runs. No walks, but has struck out 5 batters. So we'll see if he can keep the night hitters at bay here in send it into the 9th inning.
Big swing and a miss by the leadoff man, number 7, Kyle Houts. 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. The ball runs inside, evens the count at 1-1. And fouls that one off the pole. So we can hear the reverb in here. That pitch was inside and just kind of saws it off at the handle. 1-2 from Stevens. It's a curveball, but misses low, and it's 2-2. We said Stevens is a senior from Davidson, Michigan. Up in the Flint area, just like me and Cody. That ball is low, and the count runs full 3-2. A foul tip, but Frankie can't hang on to it, and we'll restart. The 3-2. That ball's going to run high for ball 4.
Close pitch right at the top of the zone, but Stevens does not get the benefit of the call there.
So the leadoff man's aboard with a walk, and that's going to bring up the catcher, who is not batting. It is a pinch hitter, number 21, Jeremy Clark. So Clark gets his first at-bat of the day. See if he can try to chip away at the Adrian lead.
Clark's a freshman, 7 for 33, has driven in 3 runs, scored 3 runs. It's a .297 on base percentage.
So that fastball runs inside. Start the count at 1-0. Houts with a decent-sized lead over at first. There's a ground ball over to third baseman. Flips to second for out number 1. Relay. And got him for a double play. Darnell to Killinger over to Hayes, and I don't think you can do it any better than that.
For a second, wasn't sure if they'd be able to turn to there. Darnell waiting for the big hop, but nice flip over at second by Killinger to get the runner at first.
So the runners are erased. There are 2 outs now in the top of the 8th, and that's going to bring up the center fielder, Ryan Stewart, who watches a ball down low, 1-0. There's a line drive into center field, a base hit. Gaussi's going to come over to cut it off. And there's a 2-out single for Stewart. It's going to bring up the leadoff man, designated hitter Matt Kotva. 0 for 3 today, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Pitch from Stevens. Curveball in there for strike 1. Off speed missing. Evens the count at 1-1.
Going back to that double play, coming into today, the Dogs had turned 17 double plays. And I'm not sure of the exact number today, but I know they've turned quite a few.
There's a long fly ball left field. Rainey has it measured, though, and he'll make the catch at the warning track for out number 3. So the Calvin Knights get a couple runners aboard, but they can't scratch across the run, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 8-1 Bulldogs. Keep it tuned right here to ACTV. Welcome back to Bulldog Baseball. Bottom of the 8th, now pitching for Calvin is the third baseman, Nate Deswan. Not often you see a position player come into pitch relief.
No, he's listed in the program as a two-way player, but no stats on him so far on the mound, so I'm going to assume this is his first bit of action on the mound.
Darnell will watch first pitch strike go by to start the bottom of the 8th. Also now catching for the Knights is Steven Dogger. We saw him come and catch the end of game number 1. There's a ground ball to the right side. Routine play. And now number 1. So up now for the Bulldogs is the left fielder Gunnar Rainey. Flew out to right field his last time up. It's the pitch from Deswan. No one finds the outside half of the plate for strike 1. There's a long fly ball into center field. He has it measured for out number 2. So 2 quick outs for Deswan here in the 8th. We've got a pinch hitter now for the Bulldogs. In for Tristan Richardson, it's number 32, Jason Croce. Seeing his first at-bat of the weekend. He watches a strike at the knees, 0-1.
Croce 2 for 13 so far on the year, scored 4 runs, driven in 1. A .333 on base percentage.
There's a fly ball Right field line, but it's going to find its way out of play. There's a long strike number 2. The 0-2. Fouls that one out of play on the right side. Watches the ball go by. 1-2.
Close pitch there, just barely misses the outside part of the plate.
On deck for the Bulldogs, it's Dakota Carraro, so it looks like he's going to come in the game for Frank Resto. The 2-2. Off speed, but misses, and the count runs full. 3-2. Pitch from Zwan. There's a line drive into left field, a base hit. So the pinch hitter, Croce, is aboard with a single for 2 outs. And that's going to bring up the pinch hitter for Frankie Resto. It's number 3, Dakota Carraro.
Nice job by Croce there, coming back from an 0-2 count and fighting his way back and ultimately getting a base knock.
Carraro watches a strike on the outside part of the plate. And another ball that gets past the Calvin Knight's pitcher on the throwback. Carraro definitely has home run power. He fouls that one straight back. 0-2.
Carraro 2 for 11 so far on the year.
That ball sails high. 1-2.
He does have 6 walks, though, which will give him a 474 OBP.
He fouls that one out of play on the left side. Now, should Carraro keep this inning going? On deck right now, Fergus Wiki is a pinch hitter, number 12, Sam McClurg. He's listed as a freshman catcher. So hopefully he can see an at-bat tonight. But he drops a curveball in there for strike 3 to end the inning. So a 2-out single by Croce, but nothing doing after that. We head to the top of the 9th inning, 8-1 Bulldogs. Keep it turned right here to ACTV. Welcome back to Bulldog Baseball. Top of the ninth here in Game 2. Bulldogs going to try to hang on to that 8-1 lead and secure this Friday afternoon sweep. Now pitching for the Bulldogs, number 22, Zach Dunn.
Dunn in 4 appearances this year has given up 8 hits, 5 runs, only 4 earned. He's walked 3 and struck out 1, 4 2/3 total.
That one finds the outer half of the plate for strike 1. Wolf watches that one in the dirt, 1-1. Wolf 1 for 3 today, broke up the no-hitter. See swings on that one. It's low and it's 1-2. One, 2. Wolf holds off on that one, and it's 2-2. There's a line drive. Killinger with a nice diving catch for out number 1. Nice play by Kill out at second base.
Trying to beat out Salgado for Web Gem of the Day.
Besides Pierce Banks, I think Killinger gets the overall player of the day. Scoring runs, making defensive plays. He's just done it all.
Not only today, but all season, Killinger definitely having a solid year.
And look what Zach Dunn found out at the pitcher's mound. 2 outs for the Bulldogs, and they're 1 away from the afternoon sweep.
Gonna credit that to PFPs, pitchers fielding practice. Pitchers are athletes too.
So that's going to bring up the right fielder, Mike Kempton, trying to keep Calvin's hopes alive right now. Hard line drive out of play on the right side. .01 from Dunn. Off speed misses, evens the count. There's a line drive up the middle. Killinger ranges, but he's not going to have a play. And it's an infield single for Mike Kempton. Good range by Killinger there, but looked over at first and knew it was better just to hold on to it.
Yeah, smart heads-up play. You don't want to uncork a wild throw there and allow the runner to get up to second.
So it's going to bring up the shortstop, Jonathan Keene. Drove in the only run of the day for the Knights with a sac fly out to right field. As Dunn paints the outside corner with that one, 0-1. Kempton with a short lead at first. Doesn't want to end it on a pickoff. That ball just misses on the outside, 1-1. Pitch. Outside, 2-1. So that one just misses.
Dunn really working the outside of the plate. Trying to get Keene to roll over on one to end the game.
That ball in the turf. Carrero able to block it. Count runs to 3-1. The 3-run from Dunn. That one misses outside, ball 4. So with 2 outs, there are now runners on first and second. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Johnny Salgado.
Dogs have runs to spare here, but definitely don't want to start walking people. As we saw in the first game, walks definitely will hurt in the long run.
It's off speed but high, and it's 1-0. Dunn gets the sign. That one fouled straight back. Count runs even at 1-1. There's a foul ball out of play. The Bulldogs 1 strike away from completing this second game with a win. Salgado calls time. Runners on first and second, 2 outs, 1-2 count. The pitch from Dunn. There's a long drive into center field. Mikowski giving chase, and that's going to fall in the gap. That's going to score 1. That's going to score another run. And Salgado is in with a 2 RBI double. And that makes it 8-3 Adrian.
Dunn just leaves what looked like a breaking ball right over the heart of the plate. And as we saw earlier in the game, Salgado knows how to go the other way and just drives that one into the gap.
So they continue to close the gap now. Runner on second. The Knights continue to chip away at the lead with only 2 outs. Or excuse me, with 2 outs. So that ball runs high, 1-0. The Bulldogs have runs to work with, like you said, but obviously don't want to mess around with that. So that one hits the inside corner. 1-1. And the ball sails high, 2-1. So should he keep the inning going, that'd bring up the catcher, Dogger. That one runs in and hits him. So Houts is aboard. Runners on first and second. And they wave Dogger off. We have a pinch hitter for the Calvin College Knights. It's number 11, Bo Redfield, a sophomore outfielder from Cedar Springs, Michigan. Trying to keep the Knights' hopes alive.
Redfield 7 for 19 with 5 RBI.
He fouls that one into the netting, 0-1. Pitch from Dunn. Another line drive. That one almost took out the cameraman over there. The count goes to 0-2. You'd hate to ruin that camera.
It looks pretty expensive.
So 0-2 now. Bulldogs 1 strike away once again. Here's the pitch from Dunn. Sails high, 1-2. Bulldogs trying to finish this one off. The 1-2 pitch. High, 2-2. On deck is the center fielder, Ryan Stewart. Ooh, that one just misses and the count runs full. Borderline call right there.
Dogs have action in the bullpen. Definitely don't want to mess around. They have 5 runs, but
Runners will be moving on the pitch. That one's fouled straight back into the netting. And for the first time today, I did not flinch.
congratulations.
Is everybody okay over there? Got some. Laura's still safe. Runners will be off again on the pitch. The 3-2. And there's a little blooper. But Hayes is going to reel it in for out number 3. Bulldogs take
Third
they
time's the
take the
charm.
cake. They win this one by a score of 8-3 after a little bit of a 9th inning scare there.
Great job by the Bulldogs again on both sides of the ball. Piers Banks, 6 no-hit innings, only gives up 1 in his 7 innings of work, and just another all-around great game.
The Bulldogs once again dominant in both games. You said Piers Banks threw a great game, 6 no-hit innings. The bats came alive. Only scored in 2 innings, the 3rd and the 4th, but that's all they'd need. Finished with 14 hits. Knights put up a fight at the end, but just wasn't enough.
So the Dogs will definitely have to take this momentum going into their games at Calvin. The Knights play pretty good ball at home, so this series is definitely not a guaranteed 4-game sweep at all.
Yes, it's going to be a tough series tomorrow. Hopefully the Bulldogs can take it. We'll be back on Friday. But first, a special presentation. So that's the one stat that got by us today as Coach Rainey gets the ice bath. Congratulations to Coach Rainey's 600th win of his outstanding coaching career.
Great guy, great coach, and definitely well-deserved.
I don't think there's a better way to end this day. We'll be back in action on ACTV with more Bulldog baseball on Friday. But until then, I'm Robbie Alexander, as always with my colleague Cody Alexander. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in to Bulldog Baseball here on ACTV.